Hello, everybody. I'm Pat Patterson. Thanks for joining us on this big day of racing. Well, there is late-breaking news in Toronto concerning the IndyCar sanctioning organization. On the phone with us live is Ned Wicker, editor of IndyCar magazine. Ned, basically a meeting this morning at 9:30. Give us the gist of what has occurred.
The 24-member board, Pat, of IndyCar has been reduced to 7. It is the latest in so many proposals that have been going back and forth between CART and the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. But basically what has happened is that Tony George and Bill Stokan are 2 non-voting members of this board, and 5 car owners will join them: Dale Coyne, Carl Haas, Jim Hall, Roger Penske, and Derek Walker. So this is the first step towards the unification of CART and IMS.
All right, Ned, does this eliminate, Tony, the rumor mill that had Tony George putting together an all-IndyCar Oval Series?
During the press conference today, Pat, Tony said that he was very interested in oval racing, but in terms of forming a new series, he mentioned nothing about it. He said there's a nice mix in racing, but he would like to see more of a 50-50 mix between ovals and road courses.
All right, I know there'll be some talk about how these 5 guys were chosen to be the board members over the 24 car owners group of guys. Do you think there'll be any animosity from the people who were not chosen to be on the board?
Not at all. This was a unanimous vote by the CART board. And what's interesting here, Pat, is that there are 3 constituencies represented. You have big teams like Penske and Carl Haas. Jim Hall is sort of the middle, Derek Walker and Dale Coyne representing the lower echelon in terms of the finances of the sport. So it's a very good mix of people.
Okay, Ned, thanks so much for staying on top of the story this morning. We'll check back with you for any more news this afternoon. All right, now here are the members of the new IndyCar board. The voting car owners are, as Ned just said, Roger Penske, Carl Haas, Jim Hall, Derek Walker, and Dale Coyne. Non-voting board members are Bill Stokan, who is the Chief Executive Officer of IndyCar, and Tony George, the President of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. So some big news out of Toronto. Now back to the business of racing. In just over 2 hours, the IndyCars will officially start the second half of their season when the green flag falls on the Molson Indy Toronto. Now the starting grid was determined by one qualifying session on Saturday when rain canceled preliminary qualifying on Friday. On the front row is Bobby Rahal, who has not finished worse than 3rd on a street circuit this year. Next to him will be Emerson Fittipaldi, 3rd in the points going in to today's race. The next row is made up of Michael Andretti, who is trying for his 3rd win in a row in Toronto. And next to him is Canadian Paul Tracy, driving for Rick Mears, who's still healing from injuries suffered in Indianapolis. And the 3rd row is made up of Mario Andretti, who finished 2nd to Michael in last year's event. And starting 6th will be Danny Sullivan, who's looking for his 2nd win of the year. Now, in other IndyCar news, former co-owner of True Sports Racing, Steve Horn, announced Friday that he will open the doors on a new IndyCar operation next month and will be ready to race in '93. Just what type of car he will field and the choice of driver will be announced at a later date. Now, Horn guided Bobby Rahal to IndyCar championships in '86 and in '87. Now, the Indy Lights series is also currently set to go in Toronto, and rookie sensation Adrian Fernandez is the favorite to win. He also sits atop the series point standings with 4 wins in the 6 previous races. Chris McClure talked with him before the race.
Thanks, Pat. The Firestone Indy Lights season has reached the halfway point. They're ready to launch the second half here in Toronto, and the litany of accomplishments so far for rookie Adrian Fernandez is growing rapidly. 4 victories. He leads the Rookie of the Year points. He leads the championship points. And Adrian, I have to ask you to begin with, after 6 races and 4 victories, are you surprised that you've been able to come to terms with the cars in the series so quickly?
Yes, yeah, at winning that much, yes, because we thought we were going to be doing good, but not this good. I think it has been a great combination with John Martin, the Amway team. I'm very proud of them, and I'm proud of what we're doing because I think we're expecting more to come, so we just have to push harder all the time.
Well, the second half of the season, a lot could change. Do you feel like you've got a big momentum rolling?
Yes, I think so. I think we have to keep it. We were quick yesterday. We have a little bit of an incident this morning. It has been my first incident of the whole year. So, you know, things happen, and I think we have to keep doing the same work. I think we are doing the right thing.
Congratulations on the season so far.
Thank you very much.
Adrian Fernandez, he's on a roll in 1992 in Firestone Indy Light competition. Pat?
All right, thanks a lot, Chris. And the Toyota Atlantic Racers took the 11-turn Toronto Street Course on Saturday for 75 miles of action. Here's Stephanie Boyd.
Russell Spence paced the field on the start, but before lap 1 was even completed, Robin Buck, Carl Liebig, and Trevor Siebert got together to slow things down. Then as the race continued on, Spence would take a detour down the escape road. That cost him about 12 spaces in the field. Current points leader Chris Smith was having a good run, but the same couldn't be said of Stuart Crow and Jamie Gallus when they got together trying to crack the top 5. Then even Smith's luck ran out as he and Spence tangled while vying for 3rd position. Meanwhile, rookie David Impringham had moved into the lead, and that's where he'd stay to collect the checkers. Behind him was Steve Cameron. Another rookie, Pat Carpentier, came in 3rd. Then it was Calvin Fish and Jacques Villeneuve rounding out the top 5. This is Stephanie Boyd reporting for Race Day.
Stick around. When we come back, we'll have the latest from Pocono, where some surprises in qualifying. But first, here's a look at the starting grid for today's Molson Indy Toronto. Stick around.
Jim Fox. It's time. Mike Bell. Time.
Isn't it a shame, owners of cars and trucks seeing them quit before their time?
You're out back.
Maybe the owners don't know about AC Delco, a full line of auto parts designed with proper maintenance to help your car or truck last.
Nick Bickner.
What if everybody knew?
Nick. Debbie? Huh?
AC Delco.
Where is everybody?
It's like buying time.
The intelligent engineering that powered this Oldsmobile to a world record 257 miles per hour now moves a new Oldsmobile to over 30 highway miles per gallon. Introducing Achieva by Oldsmobile. Never has so much thought gone into this much fun. Oldsmobile, the power of intelligent engineering.
In our form of racing, it takes about 5,000 horsepower to go from a dead stop to 285 miles an hour in less than 5 seconds. And even under those loads, the oil film holds up. I've been using Pennzoil for over 30 years now, and I've never had a lubrication problem. Well, I would highly recommend Pennzoil to other people. Yeah, it's sure worked good for me. Every record I've ever set in my life has been on Pennzoil. Performance, protection, quality. That's what Pennzoil means to me.
Old Spice. It puts the wind in your sails.
Welcome back, everybody. After a week off, the Winston Cup teams returned to the triangular Pocono International Raceway, and qualifying for today's Miller Genuine Draft 500 was Saturday. Neil Kassenbaum reports.
Richard Petty continued to show new strength in qualifying as he backed up his second-place start at Daytona with a 6th starting position for today's 500. And when Ricky Rudd came off the track after his run, he held the pole position by setting a new event qualifying record at better than 161.5 miles per hour. But the record would not hold up for long as Davey Allison powered his Thunderbird to a record 162.022 miles per hour and the pole.
Well, I'll tell you what, we feel pretty good right now. I've been a little run down over the last couple of weeks, but Texaco Haviland Thunderbird is really driving good. I even missed the tunnel turn a little bit, so it kind of surprised me to see a lap that good. But, you know, it just says a lot for the guys on the crew.
And the last qualifier of the day with a chance at the pole was Ernie Irvin, who blew an engine in practice. He did good enough for 4th, but it will be Allison the man to beat. I'm Neil Kassenbaum reporting for Race Day.
Okay, here's how the top 10 qualifiers will line up. On the pole is Davey Allison with a new event qualifying record of over 162 miles per hour. Ricky Rudd also broke that record, but will have to start in the other front row spot. Mark Martin is in the second row and looking for his second win of the year with Ernie Irvin, who had to replace a blown engine before qualifying in 4th. Row 3 is made up of Ken Schrader, whose best finish in this race was second in '88, and beside him, Wally Dallenbach Jr. in one of his best qualifying efforts today. Behind them are a couple of champions, as Richard Petty's in his second best qualifying effort this year, and will start 7th. Next to him, old DW, who last won this race in 1981. Two Fords round out the top 10 qualifiers, with Morgan Shepherd on the inside and the winner of the last Pocono race, Alan Kowicki, on the outside. Meanwhile, the NASCAR Modifieds were on track Friday for their 13th event of the year, and it was a lucky night for the race winner.
Jan Leedy was the fastest qualifier, but number 72, John Preston, started in the first position due to the luck of the draw of the top qualifiers. From that prime position, he led the first 36 laps. The first yellow of only 3 on the night came out for this tangle that involved Dan Avery, Mike McLaughlin, and championship contender number 7, Tom Baldwin. On the restart, Leedy had moved up to second, and when Preston missed a shift, he quickly moved to the head of the class. Then Baldwin, third in points, had trouble with the slick track as a light rain started to fall, but it wasn't enough to slow number 69, Reggie Ruggiero, who took the lead from Leedy on lap 46. Defending series champ Mike Stepanek briefly lit up the speedway when a flat tire slowed him to a 13th place finish. Then on lap 103, Tom Bowles spun, but look who was just behind him, the leader, Lucky Ruggiero, who got on the brakes just in time to avoid trouble. The leaders decided it was time for new tires and pitted while number 39, Bruce D'Alessandro, gambled that he could stay in front without new treads for the final 40 laps. But 12 laps after the green came out, it was Ruggiero back up front. With new rubber under him, he worked lap traffic with no trouble and went on to win his second consecutive race after a very slow start to the season.
This is the same race car we started with at Martinsville at the beginning of the year, same motor, in fact. And just didn't have any luck. The car's been fast at every race that we've been to this year. Just had a lot of bad luck. Seems to be our luck is turning around.
Doug Hevron was second, Jeff Fuller was third. In fourth was Preston, and Jamie Tomeno finished fifth.
All right, so now here's how the trek for the Modified Championship is shaping up. Jeff Fuller still rides atop the standings with Reg Ruggiero moving up to second. Tom Baldwin is third. Wayne Anderson remains in fourth, and Jan Leedy is now in the top 5. Up next, we'll take you to Monterey, California for the latest news from the Camel GT Series. But as we go to break, here's the rest of today's Winston Cup starting grid at Pocono.
So, how do you spend your weekend? Mowing the grass?
Promise to be beautiful days with low humidity, refreshing conditions, air coming right out of Canada with a pleasant...
Rich Fenwick was the first to set a new track record in his Cutlass-bodied funny car. Fenwick of Northfield, Connecticut took the #1 qualifying position with an elapsed time of 6:01 with a 9. In the Pro Modifieds, reigning IHRA champion Scotty Cannon grabbed his 7th #1 qualifying position in 8 races this year. The South Carolina resident established 2 track records with his run with an AT of 666 with an 8 at 207 miles per hour. And still another record fell for the Pro Stockers when Billy Huff drove his Beretta to the pole position with an AT of 706 with a 9. Huff was the recent winner at the Empire Nationals in Rochester, New York. Eliminations in all professional categories will get underway in about 15 minutes.
All right, it's no secret they also drag race motorcycles, and the International Drag Bike Association's 4th event of the year is underway in Columbus, Ohio, and the records are expected to be rewritten today.
Ron Ayers is on a roll in the Pro Stock division. He won the last national event in Bowling Green, Kentucky, and is the current Pro Stock points leader. He qualified fastest on his Suzuki with a 799 at just under 167 miles per hour. The 200-mile-per-hour barrier may fall later today in the Top Fuel Funny Bike division as Marshall Farr made a run at 196, but he missed being the fastest qualifier by 0.02 of a second. The man with the fastest time is former Funny Bike champion Steve Drake, whose Kawasaki reached the end of the strip in 7.26 seconds. We'll have results of today's finals tonight at 8:30 on Race Day.
Wouldn't you just love to do that? Nope. All right, stay with us for more news, plus a look at the new music video by Alabama in honor of Richard Petty. But first, here's the starting grid for today's Camel Grand Prix. Stay with us.
masters in the art of visual perfection.
Eagle One Wheel Care products are exclusively recommended by the world's leading wheel manufacturers.
Some people say it's impossible to tell where the flesh and blood stops and the machine begins. But it really doesn't matter. Because whenever you put Ivan Iron Man Stewart together with a Toyota truck, you know where they're gonna finish.
Hi there. Where'd you guys come from? Oh, we just kind of blew in.
Cool, clean, refreshing Lipton iced tea. Share the experience.
I don't need some fancy cologne to tell me I'm a man. I use Skin Bracer. It smells great, but it also cools and tones my skin. Confidence is very sexy, don't you think?
Skin Bracer Aftershave by Menon.
One thing KT Osborne will never wear out is her welcome. When she stars in the USO Celebrity Tour KT Osborne Special, Monday night on TNN.
Welcome back, everybody. Well, as we left the air last week, there was still a lot of racing action underway, so we'll bring you up to date. Here's some of the highlights, starting with the International Outboard Grand Prix in Canada.
Pole sitter Greg Foster was in command of the first 11 laps, but number 77, Colorado Scott Gilman, kept right on his rooster tail and became the second leader of the day. A full course yellow came out when top female driver Kim Jernigan had mechanical problems and drifted into the racing lanes. On the restart, it was still Gilman, then Foster, and Bill Siebold in third, while the 16 remaining boats fought for position on the 1.1-mile course. But at the end, it was Gilman with a lock on first place to record his first win of the year. Foster and Bill Siebold remained in second and third, while fourth went to Mike Siebold, and in fifth was Ken Davis. In the ARCA 250 in Canada, tires and pit stops were the main factors for the drivers to contend with. The midpoint of the race belonged to number 39, Rich Bickle, but early leader number 21, Bobby Boucher, on new tires, moved up through the pack and regained the lead. When number 7, Andy Farr, brought out this caution, the leaders pitted for 2 tires, but number 29, Bob Keselowski, came back in for 2 more. That proved to be the ticket as the 1989 champ made up lost track time with the new rubber and chalked up his 3rd win of the year. Boucher was second, Bickle third, and Dave Simcoe fourth, with defending champ Bill Venturini in fifth. This ACT race should have been named the Junior Hanley 100, as the defending champ dominated all but 2 laps. He only lost the lead when traffic problems caused him to slow. The only other leader of the day was number 01, 1990 Series champion Randy McDonald. But on the restart, it was obvious Hanley could not be stopped, and he went on for a second Triple Crown victory. 1 more, and a $50,000 bonus will be his. McDonald held on to second, Robbie Crouch was third, Robbie Thompson finished fourth, and in fifth was Dan Beatty.
All right, and the final event of last week's Rouen Grand Prix of Greater Des Moines was the Dodge Shelby Pro Series, which was won by R.K. Smith of Rancho Santa Fe, California. This racing series is in its first year of existence and is designed to highlight a driver's skills behind the wheel rather than how much speed he can afford to buy. To help all the competitors get the most out of their cars, Shelby Technology conducts tests at each track before their initial race.
The series takes the equally prepared cars to a variety of racing facilities to present different driving challenges for each race. 4 days after the Des Moines event, representatives for Shelby Technologies were at Charlotte Motor Speedway for tests in preparation for their first event there in October.
We had a great race at Phoenix the first of the year, and we had a great race last weekend on a street circuit. So it really gives the owner a chance to look at a lot of different places to race and get to race in front of really great crowds.
Former sports car champion Elliott Forbes Robinson was invited to the test to help the Shelby technicians determine the best starting point for the car's setup.
It's very, very easy to drive on the banking. The little chicane we're trying right now is a little tougher, and it's going to separate the men from the boys, I think.
Results of the test will determine if the fall event will be run on the oval or some other combination of courses possible at Charlotte Motor Speedway.
That looks like a great event. Well, that's all the time we have for this morning, but join us again at 8:30 Eastern. We'll have results from today's racing from around the country. Now, as promised, we'll leave you today. Here's the latest music video from Alabama honoring the career of Richard Petty. I'm Pat Patterson. Have a great afternoon, everyone.
The Buckmasters Sports Sundays on TNN.